Ce qui se passe dans les bois est un véritable podcast sur la criminalité. Nous discutons d'événements qui sont souvent de nature violente. La discrétion de l'auditeur est conseillée. What Happens in the Woods is a true crime podcast. We discuss events that are often violent in nature. Listener's discretion is advised.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome back. We are so excited for today's episode because if you know, you know, but we are fangirling over the ladies at Crimes and Closets. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Oh, poor Christy's lost her voice. Oh. So this is our annual collab with Crimes and Closets, and we are so excited to bring this episode to you. We've got the killer bees today. So we've got Beth and we've got Brice. They're gonna... Yay! We got some love.
A little bit.
Yeah. Are you ready, Brice? Do you have anything prepared?
No, I'm just going to wing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're just going to talk some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're just talking about, what are we talking about lately?
What are we talking about? You know, whatever
Halloween
comes up.
traditions.
Yeah.
No.
We've got some of the kind of scary aspect of things I think we're talking about today. Some mystical things that we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your podcast and where everybody can find you if they have not heard you before? I highly recommend go listening to them, but I will hand it over to Beth and Cristy for a minute.
Probably Beth.
Christy.
You should probably
has
do
laryngitis.
Yeah.
that. So I'm sorry that I sound like this.
She's going to do her best. We're Crimes and Closets. You can find us on any platform that you listen to podcasts on, and YouTube. We're on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and Facebook, and we love to talk true crime. We hide in our closets from our kids and our husbands and criminals and murderers, and we drink wine and we talk about crime. And we're so happy to be here.
Oh, we love having you guys.
Always.
So, yeah, these are our podcast besties for life.
You talked about fangirling us. We're totally fangirling you guys. Fangirl and fanboy. Is that the proper terminology?
I'm all right.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm not offended.
Okay.
And happy birthday to you, because it is your birthday. And
Yes. Yes, it is our birthday. So Beth and I share a birthday.
Scorpio queens.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we won't let anybody forget it either.
No.
No.
No, we won't.
No.
We will turn into damn witches and hex your ass.
Right. I mean, stranger things have happened. Obviously, we talk about, murders and crimes that happen. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys just finished up, Serial Killer September?
Yeah.
I know that's your guys' favorite time.
No.
Their faces.
It's always funny because they're like, it's over.
We did it.
It's over.
We did it. He's out of my head. This
So
killer's out of my head. It's
We
rough.
only talk about them once a year, and it's just because we hate them. It's rough. Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I applaud you guys for not romanticizing them and just,
Absolutely.
yeah. And putting the spotlight on how disgusting these people are. So we could just wait for Netflix to romanticize all the serial killers. Thanks, Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing.
Ain't that the dang truth?
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a great episode for you guys. So I'm going to hand it over to Brice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to talk?
I mean, so I've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me try to muddle through this. Not my specialty here. Anyway, Halloween traditions. If you guys don't know, you guys, I am of a Filipino persuasion. And this is
Persuasion?
Yes. This is the time of the year that all Filipinos, this is our time of the year.
Yeah.
This is it for us. This is our holiday. We celebrate what most people call the Day of the Dead, but for us, it's the whole week. And it's called Undas, but it's called Dia de los Todos Santos. So basically All Saints Day. And in the Philippines, it's more like a holiday. People get the week off.
Oh.
And, yeah.
The whole week?
Wow.
Pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much.
Can I become Filipino?
Yeah. Because you can have dual citizenship
Just
in the
adopt
Philippines.
This,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Ate Cristy.
Ate, Cristy and Ate Beth.
Yes.
You guys are sisters. But the Philippines, if you guys don't know, is very, very religious. 86% of the nation belongs to the Roman Catholic Church. And
wow.
usually in the north, it's that way. In the south, it's also Muslim. But 86% of the country, and of course, All Saints Day or the, Day of the Dead is mostly, Catholic. And the country is fiercely Catholic. I mean, so like I said, Halloween for Filipino people means time off of work, So people what they do is they work in the metros. That's just what they call the cities there. So my mom was from Cebu, and which is in the middle of the country. But most people would work in Manila, in the north, where it's a big city, and that's where they could get better paying jobs. But when this week rolls around, Undas, it is everyone goes home. Basically, the country shuts down, and it's just a celebration of all those that went before us. And so I mean, it may be a little weird to Western minds, but it is a week that they spend just honoring the dead, and it's not unheard of or even strange, but you basically camp out in the cemetery. And yeah, you camp out there, and it's not just you. Everybody does it, so it's not like you're alone in the cemetery. Everyone is doing it, and it starts the week, and you clean the lapida, which is the headstones. And I'm not talking just clean, they scrub them, they'll repaint them. I remember they would repaint them, even re-gold leaf all the letters. It's very, and they have people that actually do that service. Like, you could pay people to do that service, clean the headstone, repaint it, or even the mausoleums. You know, like they take it very serious there, and it's yeah.
I didn't realize that it was that long, because like Catholics, there's All Saints Day, there's All Souls Day, which is November 2nd, and then usually All Hallows Eve, there's some sort of something going on. So the 31st, November 1st, and then November 2nd. Those I knew about.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing in the Philippines, where All Hallows Eve and then All Saints Day.
Yeah.
And then, but like, this is a family occasion. Like, you would probably, like, this is a time for family reunions. Like, people will go there. They go and camp there and, like, just hang out there. And, like, it's not.
When you say camp.
Yes, literally tents.
Literally spend the night. And like,
yeah. Like, you will spend most of the week there, like at least the 3 days. And it's, I mean,
I guess if everybody else is there,
yeah,
you know, if there's other families, like, I guess it wouldn't be so scary.
No, it really, and I'm not talking like it's just like a couple families. Like, people are, it looks like a camp out. Like, there are tents there. Like, the cemeteries in the Philippines, they actually have benches there, like in front of the gravestones. Like, you can go and, like, you'll see people lay on there, like, you know, during this week.
Okay.
And so,
I I feel like I would be afraid that they would then turn that into like, or somebody would be like, all these people are in there. I could commit some crimes.
Right?
No, well, because like I said, the Philippines is very religious, and
Yeah.
like people are they don't play that there. So, I mean, it's a very serious time.
I guess it would be more of like a that traditional type of hierarchy in society too.
Yeah.
Maybe where your family name, if you did something to dishonor your family name, and during this time, which is supposed to be about family and traditions, then it would bring a lot of shame.
It's like a sacred time.
Yeah,
It really is. Yeah. And it's this is where they also do alay, which is the food offering. Like when you go there, they make the food offerings, and it's an offering to the relatives to make sure that they're well fed on the other side. But it's just an offering for them on that day, on November 1st. I know we were talking about Halloween, but like for the Philippines, it's a whole week thing. And they'll make the food offerings, and it just depends on where you're at. Like some places ate, it's a lay at some, like I remember my mom saying, things like that. And even in more recent times, like more modern times, they've started having, they don't do trick or treating in the Philippines. That's a more like, and most of my sources for this, I can't like quote any sources. I've just talked to my cousins. Like we literally had a meeting and we all got on a video conference, and a lot of these stories stuck with me too, and so like I had to reference them and my aunt, and just like all these events that happen and lead up to it. So it was nice too. I got to talk to my cousins and my aunt while reminiscing about all this stuff. Also, it's weird, but my mom used to tell me that like some people would go caroling, and I know that seems weird, but like they would, so the people that carol are like, they represent the lost souls of relatives, and they would just go door to door singing songs, and sometimes you would give them a trick or a treat. You know what I mean? That's how they did it there. So I know it seems a little weird to us now.
So-
it even seems weird to me.
No, I don't think it seems weird. It's just it's different from what we do in America, which
it is.
has evolved from similar things. But so when they're going caroling, is that through the cemetery or is that around homes?
No, that's around the homes.
Oh, okay.
It's not necessarily in the cemetery, but like they would go door to door and sing, like caroling. There's
Okay.
usually like 4 people, and they're usually dressed all in white
Okay.
to represent the spirits or the souls. Of
Yeah.
the things.
Okay.
But like I said,
I think
more.
that it's interesting how in this country we think that like death is like so taboo and spooky.
Yeah.
Like it's just like creepy to like think about somebody who is dead. And in literally every other culture, they're like respected.
Yeah, they're celebrated.
Like
Yeah.
an ancestor. Yes, exactly. Like which is how it should be. And I don't know how in our country it got to be like, oh my gosh, well they're dead. So
There's an interesting
go.
series on YouTube, Beth, that I'll probably have to send you afterwards. But this lady breaks it down so how we got to this point. And it's such an like I stumbled on it on accident, but I will send you the link later on. But like she breaks it down like how it's a $3 billion industry and how it got turned to like the exact same thing you just brought up, is like how we went from, celebrating people to like just it literally turned
Fearing
into
it.
fearing
we
it.
fear it. We're petrified of death in this country. Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, send that to me.
But like, and more recently, they've just started adopting like Western culture. Like they have Halloween parties, and then like more along the lines of the kids of the '90s, they started doing horror TV shows. because in the 90s, that's when they started doing that there. And I had a list of them. But that's actually not what I wanted to talk about. Like, this is for Halloween. But the amount of monsters in the Philippines and the lore around it is what is interested to me. And this is really honestly what I called my cousin Cheryl and Monica and Francis and hello guys, and my aunt. And this is actually the stories that they told me as kids, because I came to the Philippines really young. I mean, I came to the States when I was really young. I didn't really get to grow up there. Like, they got to grow up there. And so, like, I laugh at the stories then but reflecting on them, it's a part of my childhood. So what I want to do is take you guys on a little trip on about the little, and I'm talking, there are a ton of them.
Yeah.
So I've whittled it down to the three like most interesting ones and probably the most famous ones. So the first one that I wanted to share with you guys is called Kapre. And it's almost spelled like Capri, but it's Kapre. And what this gentleman is, he is...
Oh, you're showing us.
Oh, we have a picture.
He is a... most of the time he's depicted as... Like, I've talked to my cousins, and they said most of the time he is like a goat-like creature, but he's always hanging around in the trees or under a tree. And most of the stories are like he'll help lost travelers, but he won't really help them. And yes, he's always smoking a cigar. So like, because sometimes like my cousins would say, like, when you're walking through the forest and you see all the fireflies, that may be the embers from the Capre's cigar. And you don't want, you may want to walk the other way. So he's usually always depicted, or like when you see him, he's always wearing a bahag, which is the loincloth. It's a traditional northern Filipino loincloth. And like I said, he's always sometimes depicted as either like a big scary monster or like a half goat guy. But
a half goat would be scary as hell.
Yeah. Or even with horns is what they said. Like sometimes he'll have horns. But like he's usually up in a tree, or if you're lost, you probably don't want to meet the Kapre on the road because he will not help you. So, and it's usually a story that people would tell their kids not to, basically not to be out late. Is what I mean. That's is exactly like, now that you're grown and you hear the stories, you're like, uh-huh. But like as a kid, you know what I mean? You're like, oh man, I didn't ever want to meet that guy out there.
Yeah, make your curfew or you're going to meet that goat man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stay out
of the damn woods.
Yeah.
Cigar.
So now, the next one I wanted to tell you guys is a little less like scary and more just malicious. And what they call them is duwendes. And duwendes, as described as my cousin, are like little Smurf-like creatures that are in the grass that you can't see. And I know this is going to sound weird, and I used to think this was funny too. But like, if you see a Filipino crossing a field of grass, or even, you will see them, you have to apologize to him. Yeah, so like you'll see Filipinos walking across the field, and my cousins did this, and I didn't understand. They would always say, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me." And they just walk through this field. I'm like, "What are you doing?" "Well, you don't want to step on the duwende." I was like, "The what?" "The duwende." Because what he does with his little stick, like if you don't say "excuse me," he could whack your legs and cause a rash on your legs. So like that's how they explain, like if you got like allergic to the grass, that's what
or there's gnats, like gnats in the grass that would bite you or something.
No, it's the duwende.
Well, yes, no, I know, but
and so
he's smoking too.
Yeah,
like I said, they're usually little Smurfs, and they're that's what Francis described them as, little Smurf people.
Little Smurf people.
I was like,
so
but
when
Smurfs.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
go
don't know
ahead.
why, but those guys freak me out worse than the goat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
the
these
way
guys are a little bit more
grass, they
now.
just like poke you with your stick that
Yeah.
you can't see.
Well, if
Right.
you don't say,
No.
but that's why you have to say,
No.
You say,
excuse me.
"Excuse me."
Sorry, excuse me. And then
So that's
this
what I was
is
going to ask. You have to say it like before you accidentally, or because how do you know if you're
You
stepping
just
on them?
you-
you're gonna
every
have to
step.
go every.
Yeah.
You're
Every
gonna have to
step.
say,
every
"Excuse
step.
me."
Like my cousins would say that. Excuse me.
Preemptive excuse
Sorry.
me.
Excuse. Sorry. Excuse. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, you got to say that all the way across this big field, and they're like, yeah. But so like, and then the other part of the fact, and I don't. But like Francis told me this, he's like, yeah, and if you go in a tree, like if you go, you know, in the Philippines, you're not near a bathroom. But if you go on a tree and you don't say excuse me, he will whack you on that.
Oh,
And
so
then
if you pee,
yeah, if you
you're in a-
pee and you don't say excuse me or like tell him to get out of the way or tell them to get out of the way, he could whack you and you would get like a rash there.
oh god, oh no.
So just like on your legs, you know what I mean? But like if you pee on him and you don't say sorry or excuse me or get out of the way, that you could get whacked on there.
On the wee wee.
Yes, on the
Yeah.
wee-wee.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's a no.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Don't worry, it's not BD.
Yeah,
It's
no.
the duwende.
It's just the
Did
duendes.
I say that right?
Duendes. Yeah.
We may have to start using the duende story to some of our boys in our house that still pee outside on the trees.
Yeah, just look. I'm not kidding. Duende. Look up the duende, and it's like I said. These are like Catholic, but like when the Spanish came, a lot of these are very familiar to like even Latin people. These monsters or some of them, and now the next one, the final one that I have for you is strictly like Filipino, and it's gonna be really really weird to you guys, but like this frightened my cousins to no end. And I hope I'm going to get this right. But the name of this creature is called the Manananggal. Manananggal.
I could not.
Manananggal. Yeah.
That's a
Not with
mouthful.
not with my stuttering.
And so what the Manananggal is a woman. You can't even call it a woman, but it's a woman that has wings and breasts, and she has like a long tongue. And what she does is like if you see her, you better run, because what she does is she can. What they tell me, and Francis, Cheryl, Monica, is she splits in half and she flies and chases you. Mm-hmm. And with her long tongue, she'll like kidnap you. But like even on top of that, what they said is like always the Manananggal would like split in half and then crawl on the ceiling, and she's always targeting like pregnant women. And
Why pregnant woman?
because I'll tell you in a second, like pregnant women, and she would use her tongue to steal the hearts of babies in their mom's stomach.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so she would steal babies or like travelers, like on the road. She would take their souls too. But like if you came across like just a pair of legs in the out somewhere, it's probably the Manananggal, and you probably want to run the other way. But like so. Part of the other story is like and it's all Filipino lore, but part of the story is to like if you don't baptize your baby, the Manananggal will come and take your baby's heart.
Oh.
So like I said, a lot of these creatures came from
Beth's eyes right now. Oh my god.
This lady is creepy.
she is because like
Yeah.
they said, like she can split in half, and if you just see legs out in the middle of nowhere, you're like, uh-oh. That's
I
the
mean, if
Manananggal.
if I saw legs out in the middle of nowhere, I would say, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody would say, "Uh-oh."
And half of the lore too is it's like part vampire. Like if you salt the legs, she can't come back to it, and it may kill her. She's she can't be in the daylight. But some of that, yeah, she's like the scary. Like I'm like, how do you walk in the Philippines?
Right. You can't
How
walk
you
anywhere.
can't get lost in the forest,
No.
and then you can't even go to sleep because this may be on the ceiling.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. No, thank you.
Like I said, these are the stories I heard growing up from my cousins, and and I had to call them. I'm like, hey, remember those stories you used to tell me as a kid, or when we were kids? And yeah, we relived our whole childhood in that meeting, so in that video conference.
Wasn't there like a white woman too, or is that her?
And the most famous one is the lady in white, La Llorona. But
yes.
It's everybody knows her, but she's the most famous in the Philippines. But she's also in like Latin countries, like in Mexico has the La Llorona. Most Spanish cultures know of the white lady.
Yeah,
like she was left at the altar, or she was
she was wronged somehow.
Yeah, she was wrong somehow, but it always had to do with love or marriage.
Yeah.
And so she's just walking around. And I didn't want to touch on her because I thought most people know about the white lady.
I remember Cheryl telling me stories about her.
Yeah, that was, they're scared of the white lady. And I think they've actually seen her, but.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you see weird shit out there.
Yeah, no.
Did you say you see her?
No, my cousins.
Your cousins.
Yeah,
my cousins, yeah.
They've seen her. We don't mess around with that stuff. No, thank you.
No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how anybody sleeps in the Philippines.
Going back to this, the tongued wing lady.
The Manananggal.
How do you keep her from? How do you? How do you keep her away?
It's basically just like them telling you go to church, baptize your baby, be a good Catholic, and the Manananggal will not come visit you. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Well, we've failed on all accounts.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of. That's why I had brought up in the beginning, like our country is 86% Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
a lot of this came over from when the Spanish came over and conquered the Philippines. But I mean, we had there are a lot of gods and goddesses in the Philippines before. I think there were like 12 gods in the Philippines. But that's neither here nor there. That's not for this episode. Maybe another episode.
Maybe a different one. Yeah.
So, like I said,
this is just the spooky side.
Yeah, this is the Philippines is like this is their time. Like this is a whole event week for them right now. So,
yeah. I'm. You're not going to share that picture that you're showing right now on Instagram, are you?
I mean, if people want to see it. I mean,
okay.
I'll post it. I'll post the pictures of the
we might have to put a bar across the chest area.
I'm sure I can find some pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just the one that showed the half flying off.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's the part that scares everybody. Oh yeah, it's just a vampire. Like what? She flies and splits in half. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you do have to post something because I think people need to see something.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
They have nightmares with us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't explain our speechlessness.
No.
We're like, what?
Yeah. Nah, and I apologize to my cousins now if I butchered any of those names, but like Tagalog is not my first language. But
yeah.
That's what I have for you.
I'm curious, Brice, do you like celebrate at all the week of Halloween? Like being Filipino and coming from that culture?
So
recognize it at all?
I do. I've had to learn it myself. Like my mom was very like, we're in America. We should, do American traditions, and like my mom told me like when I came to the States, I didn't even speak English. Like I spoke Visayan, and she like, I don't even remember that. Mm-hmm. But like, but she told, she would, I remember my grandma, we called her Wawa. She came to the States in 1984, and she even told my grandma like, hey, we're in America now. You have to speak English and do all these things. And like it was a different time. But this is part of like my journey of trying to rediscover like all my Filipino roots, and it was, yeah, it's it's a struggle. So it's a struggle, like being half, you know, because it's, and I've talked to my buddy Brian Davis, because we're both half, and like it's a struggle for us to be recognized by each culture. You know what I mean? Like they always say you're not enough, and I'm not trying to turn this into a pity party for me, but like it's something that my friend Brian and I talk about a lot. So, but it's I try to, but I don't want to mess it up. But like, yeah.
I think too, it's been difficult to, and I say this, I probably have no place to speak of it, but trying to make sure that the girls, our girls got some of that influence too, because I always wanted them to have that part of their culture. It's part of their culture. It's not mine, but I wanted to advocate for them to have it. And so I've learned what I can as far as, some ways to make food from his mom and, things like that. But I think that it's harder now that we're up here and we're so isolated from all of the rest of his family, because we were more immersed in that when we lived in California. So it's been a little bit different up here on our own, essentially. But, I mean, I think we should start doing that. I think we should. I'm down to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, the last couple of years we haven't even really decorated for Halloween, let alone anything else. But I would be down for that.
Okay.
You should have said something a month ago.
Yeah.
We could have done something. I mean, we could still go hang out at the cemetery.
Yeah, but there won't be people camping there. Like,
No, but the girls would come with us. They're always down for a good cemetery trip.
yeah, but like we don't have relatives here.
Oh, well, we'll
I'm
go
not
celebrate
just-
somebody
yeah,
else's
I'm just-
relatives.
no,
What does that
no,
matter?
no, I'm not hanging out in the cemetery.
Oh,
here.
okay. Well, I don't know. I'm sure we could find somebody.
Sure, maybe.
I mean,
You'd probably get arrested if you.
I know, right?
You're in here
Honest,
after
if they were
hours.
like, yeah. Why would tent here, guys?
Yeah, right.
People would not understand.
No. They'd be like, those crazy people, what are they doing?
It's sad.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
think that. It's
They would.
sad.
Yeah. Or they would think that we're just trespassing to do something,
Yeah.
like to ruin a headstone or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Grave robbers.
No, and like even growing up, like because of the cemetery situation here in the United States, like a lot of relatives had like a small corner dedicated to like your dead relative, and so like every All Hallows Eve you would put the food out for your relatives, and so it's moved from in America, it's moved from the cemetery to like a small corner of your house. And like a lot, and like I remember like my mom and my aunt would pray, and hang out. That's not my thing, but do you?
That's very cool. I loved hearing all of that. I mean, they were freaky.
Yeah.
Smurfs.
Yeah,
I
those
actually
little
thought
things
they
are
were kind of cute.
Yeah.
The one,
Those freak me out.
the one in the field.
Duendes.
Yeah, the duwendes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of looked like he was smoking the ganja, and I would apologize all day long too, going through the field if that was the case.
No, like of all the monsters or like all the creatures, that's the one that Francis, my cousin Francis, talked about. He's like, no, you don't want to make him mad. That was the one they were most scared of. Like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me.
That's weird.
Of all of them, but
Yeah, I'm sorry. The vampire lady there is.
the Manananggal.
Yeah.
I can't say that word. You know it. I am not good at pronouncing English, let alone anything else. That's horrifying. She's horrifying. And your mom let you not get baptized. That's what kills me.
No, I'm baptized.
You were not baptized.
I'm baptized. Like my.
No, you were never baptized. You and your
okay.
brother were never baptized.
Oh, and that was the whole thing. Was like I remember my mom. Yeah, my mom. Growing up, my mom's like, "You need to get baptized." You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why are you pushing that so hard, Mom?"
Why didn't she get you baptized?
Yeah.
Both your parents were Catholic. I don't understand this now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
Lucky you still have your heart, sir.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Skippy. Oh, these dogs. Wow.
The pod dogs.
All right. Well, I don't know, Beth. Can you top this?
I'm not
This
trying to top
craziness?
Oh.
that,
No.
Scary
I
monsters?
got nothing with tongues.
Oh, God.
No. Do you know what I'm going to talk to you about today?
but- What's that?
Because it's spooky season. And so I thought it would be super fun to talk about the world's spookiest religion.
Oh,
Can you guess what it is?
Like, probably like voodoo, hoodoo.
It's voodoo.
oh,
Ding, ding, ding. Which, actually, I have learned through my research is a largely misunderstood religion and actually okay. But there are spooky elements. So, when you hear voodoo, what do you think of?
Those dolls that you
Yeah.
like stick pins in and sell, like hurt somebody else through.
or yeah, casting a spell on them.
Okay. Voodoo dolls. Okay. Yeah. So it's actually totally the opposite of all that stuff. It's a very like peaceful religion. And the word voodoo translates to spirit. Okay.
Oh.
So in voodoo, there are like occasional animal sacrifices, which are definitely terrible and illegal. But all of the dark things we tend to like associate with voodoo
Yeah.
are more like the black magic
Now,
side of the religion.
I just wanted to ask: is
So they're not actually
the sacrifices not legal here, or where it originated?
voodoo. No, anywhere.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not legal anywhere, I don't think.
Never mind.
So, yeah. Well, voodoo actually started in Haiti. And
Oh.
it is still a recognized religion in Haiti. Over half of all Haitians practice voodoo to this day.
Wow.
And there are an estimated 80 million people who practice voodoo worldwide.
80 million?
That seems pretty
80
high.
million people. It's a lot, right? I mean, the majority are like in Haiti. There's a lot of people in Haiti.
Yeah.
So voodoo came to the U.S. through Louisiana in 1804 when plantation owners moved there with their slaves that were brought over from Haiti. So during that time, slave religion, end quote, was outlawed.
Of course.
So most of the slaves were required to adopt their owner's religion, which at that time was Roman Catholic.
of course.
So because of this, the modern day voodoo that we have in the U.S. is sort of like mesh between Catholic beliefs and traditional voodoo beliefs
Oh,
and rituals.
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
did know that. But that's crazy to think that
Yeah.
there's
And-
so much meshing.
And it is. You'll see when I talk about it. It's interesting. So, New Orleans obviously is known as the hub of the voodoo religion. Voodoo believes in one supreme being, which is called Bondi. So, this would be like our God
Yeah.
if you were looking at it from like the U.S. Christianity perspective, like the creator of the universe, the creator of all beings, a supreme being. But their supreme being, Bondi, is too far away or too supreme to communicate or influence like our world.
Oh.
So like in the Christian belief, we say like okay, God, it's all God's will.
Yeah.
Like God is moving things along or influencing things that we're doing, or they don't believe that. They think their supreme being is just way too supreme, way too far away. They can't touch him. They can't reach him. He can't reach them. So in order to contact or communicate with Bondi, they go through lesser deities that they call Iowas. So Iowas are like the spirits of ancestors, of animals, of natural forces, and like spirits of good and evil. There's over 1,000 Iowas in the Voodoo religion. Like, for example, if you were a farmer, you would give offerings and praise to the Iowa of agriculture.
Oh.
Or if you were sick, you would give offerings and praise to the Iowa of health.
How do they keep all of them
Which
straight?
sounds a lot like, I don't know. I mean, they're just immersed in the religion, but like, it sounds like saints. If you
Yeah,
look
it
at it
does.
from like
I was
the
gonna
Catholic,
say,
Roman
yeah.
Catholic religion, it's like, this is the patron saint of health.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the patron saint of,
Travelers.
you know,
Right.
yes, exactly. So it's very similar to that if you compare. So you can see how like Catholicism has kind of meshed into this.
Okay.
So these offerings or praise that they give to the Iowa are done through very sacred rituals that are performed by high priest or priestesses of voodoo cults. So they're very elaborate. They include special diets, secret languages, spirit possession, dancing, lighting of candles, and then the occasional animal sacrifices. They use talisman, which I'm sure you guys have probably heard of,
Yeah.
which are like trinkets. They're believed to become enveloped with the powers of the spirits during a ritual. So they can be statues, they can be like animal parts. So like think like rabbit's foot for good luck.
Yeah.
That's like a talisman. So like they do a ritual, they have a rabbit's foot. The rabbit's foot comes enveloped with whatever spirit that they're going to invoke during that ritual, and then they can sell that rabbit's foot, or you can take that rabbit's foot with you and carry the power of that spirit with you.
Oh, okay.
So through these powers that they gain through these rituals, they can do fortune telling, they can do dream readings, spell castings, they can invoke protections, they can create potions, and all of these things, according to the Voodoo religion, are to be used to better the universe and the people in it.
Oh.
So
Where
it's
do
all
we get all
meant
the
for,
dark
like,
magic
healing
from?
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, sorry.
So
I'm jumping ahead.
Voodoo dolls, which you we're almost there. Don't worry. Voodoo dolls that you mentioned, Cristy, are actually used to bring good fortune or health to the person that they represent.
Well,
So
then the
typically
movies
what they're
don't
used-
portray that right.
No, they lie.
They do. And the reason why that they do that is because this was a slave religion. And so the white Christian religion demonized it and made it seem like it was this
Dark
evil,
magic.
awful, corrupt, dark magic
Yeah.
because it wasn't something that they believed. But
Oh,
in
that's
reality, that's not really what it is.
No, that's similar to like, the Puritans and witches.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It's par for the course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I why did I expect anything differently, I guess?
Yeah, but it really is like a peaceful religion. So I don't know if you guys heard of Marie Laveau. She's like one of the most popular voodoo practitioners. So like if you Google voodoo, she's going to come up. So she was a really, really renowned voodoo practitioner and midwife in New Orleans in the 1800s. And she was actually like a community activist. She was a really generous woman. She did healings. She visited prisons, and she met with like death row inmates to provide them with like comfort and support. And advice
wow.
in their last days. She would like meet with women in the community to help them better their life circumstances, teach them how to sew, teach them how to cook and clean and things like that so that they could like better their lives. She was a clairvoyant. She claimed to be a clairvoyant, and she would often give advice to some of New Orleans' most wealthy women. She was kind of seen in her day as like a bridge between like the wealthy white community and the poor African American community in New Orleans. And when she died, she was known as like a pillar in the community, and her funeral was attended by like not only her own community, like the African American community, but like New Orleans elite.
Oh, wow.
White community.
Oh, wow.
But after she died, she became this like voodoo, like spooky lady and haunts everything. And it really turned like sensational, and it's just like not who she was.
That's really unfortunate.
So, it's sad. And it was really, and when I started out, I'm like, it's going to be so spooky. I'm going to talk about voodoo. And then I was like, well, no, I kind of feel bad because voodoo's like not bad.
No.
It's like a pretty legit like religion that, you know, just does what any other religions do, like supports higher power and like morals and, you know, like the respect of our ancestors and the dead, and it's just totally been turned the other way. But this is a true crime podcast, so I will talk to you about the dark side of voodoo because it's there. That said, it is known as black magic, and that is when these rituals and these spells and these powers are used to summon evil spirits or do harmful things to other people. It is very frowned upon in the voodoo religion. There it is.
I can't with you. Oh,
Not
God.
today, Peyton. Not today.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, cases of crimes and creepy and spooky that have happened as a result of the voodoo religion. So the first person that I'm going to tell you about is Reverend Willie Maxwell. He was a voodoo priest in Alexander, Alabama in the 1960s and 70s. He had supposedly been trained in voodoo by a group in Mississippi called Seven Sisters. And it was rumored that he practiced black magic. So this was like a very revered black magic voodoo
Practitioner.
organization.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And he had gone there and was trained by these people. Because of his involvement in voodoo, Reverend Maxwell was very feared by his community. So this fear kept people from speaking out against him. So anything that he did wrong, they would just keep their mouth shut and like never say a word because they were afraid of what he was going to do to them.
Right. You don't want to be hexed.
In 1960, yes, and he was known to do that. So in 1969, Reverend Maxwell's wife was found strangled and beaten in her car.
Oh, no.
So he was arrested, and while he was awaiting trial, he married the prosecution's key witness.
Oh.
So he's in prison for his wife's murder, and the prosecution's key witness supposedly saw him murder her, married him. So she changed her story and, you know, was no longer a witness for prosecution. So due to the lack of evidence and now no witness, he was acquitted, and he ended up collecting $90,000 in life insurance for his wife's murder.
Oh my my God.
$90,000 in 1969.
Isn't there like a law against that? Oh, I guess not, because he was
No,
never
if he's
convicted.
acquitted. Yeah.
Well, yes. So he was the beneficiary. So shortly after his release, his brother was found dead after driving his car off of a highway. So the autopsy ruled that his death could not be determined. So they didn't know if it was natural causes or if it was from driving off a highway and getting a wreck. So it's very highly probable. But again, no evidence or no one coming forward to say that Reverend Maxwell was involved. A few years after that, his second wife, the one that he married while he was on trial for his first wife's murder, she was found dead of acute asthmatic bronchitis.
What is this guy doing?
Again, Willie was suspected.
Jeez.
He killing everybody. So Willie was suspected of her murder, but he again couldn't be charged because no one was coming forward. There was suspicions that even the medical examiner who ruled her death bronchitis had been threatened in some way by Reverend Maxwell. So he collected $40,000 in life insurance for her death.
Wow.
Oh my God.
A month later, I'm not even done. A month later, her daughter, so his stepdaughter, who was 16 years old, was found dead because she was crushed under a car.
Oh.
So, like a car fell on her.
From where?
She
Right.
was 16. From a height. So they, I mean, I don't know, and like not the sky.
Was it like the driveway up top? I don't. Wow.
The story that Reverend Maxwell gave is that she must have been changing her tire.
Oh.
But like 16, and I mean, I've been 16, and I would not change my own tire. At 16 now, I would.
Would the car have
like-
really, like, wouldn't there be some space under the car? That would,
Right.
right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Well, the tire must have landed on
But
her.
why would she go under the tire if she's changing it? Why would she go under that?
It's very questionable, wouldn't you say? So police obviously were very sure that all of these had been murders at the hand of Reverend Maxwell. But they had no proof, and literally no family members, no community members, no one, even police force, medical examiners, doctors, everyone was afraid of this guy because they were afraid that he was going to put a hex on them or some kind of a death spell or whatever. No one would speak out against him.
That's crazy.
So at the stepdaughter's, it's crazy. The stepdaughter's funeral, the 16-year-old's funeral, he actually gave the eulogy at her funeral. And during her funeral, her family members stood in the middle of the funeral and like rioted against him, and one of them ended up shooting him
Oh.
and killing him, like point blank in the head. Like, you have killed all of these people in our family, and we know it. Police aren't doing anything, and you're not going to put a hex on me, sir.
Right.
And they shot him.
Oh.
Did those people go to jail?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, as you should, I guess, sure. But still.
Right. Terrible. So that just shows you in our country how feared the voodoo religion actually is, like how demonized it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a crazy story.
Now?
Another one.
Crazier than that?
It actually, this one is bananas.
Okay.
This is some real something. So, and I went in a rabbit hole in this one, so I'm real sorry if I like over detail it, but it's so interesting. Okay. So on July 18th of 1997, so it's not that long ago, the body of a 40 like something-year-old man was found passing motorists on the side of the road in northwestern Wisconsin. He was dressed head to toe in white clothing, so like white shirt, white pants, white belt, white shoes, and he had been shot at very close range in the chest. His body had been left out in the open, not concealed at all, and there was no murder weapon on the scene. So it was very clear to law enforcement that it was not a suicide. Someone had shot this man and left him there. There were 2 sets of footprints. One was the man's, and then another set that was unknown. The man's passport was in one of his pockets and showed that his name was Mark Foster. Okay, so Mark was the owner of a very successful tech company specializing in making CDs. Remember those?
For those who don't know.
Mid to late 90s, they were new. It was the cool thing to get yourself a CD. He was married to a woman named Sarah, and she was expecting a baby. He had 2 other children from a previous relationship, and he lived in a big home in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with his wife, Sarah, his nephew, Brent Thompson, and his best friend, Greg Friesner. So, a lot of people in that house. Mark was described as quirky and charismatic, and he had been reported missing by his nephew on the morning that his body was found. Okay, during Mark's autopsy, the medical examiner found a handwritten note in one of his shoes. So it had been hidden there. The note said...
Because that's where I leave all my notes.
Same. So comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So the note said, Jack Fraser isn't here, but is it Jimmy Bailey or a lookalike? Geez, it's 3 Tufts. Hope I'm okay.
What?
3 Tufts.
3 Tufts. Like Toughs.
Oh.
Oh, not like Tuffs, like Tufts.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Like tough guy. Like spelled like that.
wow.
Okay. So what does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. Are you going to tell us?
I hope you know.
Yeah, I hope you know too, or else this is going to be a really weird episode.
The end. Thanks for coming. Okay.
Stay out of the damn woods. Bye.
Okay. Okay. So who are Jack Fraser and Jimmy Bailey? Because he named those people in this note. So police ask Mark's wife and family, and they find out that Jack Fraser was Sarah's most recent ex-boyfriend. Sarah is my wife. So Sarah had been living with Jack, and about 6 months prior to his death, she had moved out of Jack's house and directly in with Mark. And then they got married, and she got pregnant. Jack was very scorned by this, and he had even had a previous altercation with Mark in the front yard. So it was like known by everyone. Jack hates Mark because of leaving him. Mark's nephew, Brent, who lived with him, told police that Mark had told him he was going to meet with Jack on the night that he was killed. And then he never came home, and then he wound up dead. So police, they call up Jack, and they're like, "Sir, we found your name in a dead guy's shoe. Can you come in?"
That's probably the weirdest
Jack
opening.
admitted that he and it's verbatim what they said. I guarantee it.
We found your name in a guy's shoe.
That's why I'm not a cop. Okay. So Jack comes in, and he admitted that he and Mark were not friends. I do not like him. I am pissed that Sarah left me for him, but I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what you're talking about. I am innocent. I don't kill people. So police look into Jack's alibi, and it turns out that he actually was in a totally different state during the time frame of Mark's murder. He had flown out of state for work. He had airline tickets, baggage claim receipts from like restaurants and stores in other states. His alibi was literally rock solid.
It checked out.
Okay, so it's not Jack Frazier. Check. So
We'll
then
see.
police look into the other name. Police look into the other name on the letter, which is Jimmy Bailey. So Jimmy Bailey was Sarah's ex-husband. So the two of them had a child together, and they were going through a pretty ugly custody dispute around this time. So police brought Jimmy in for questioning. But Jimmy also had a solid alibi. He had been at work and was seen on CCTV footage the entire time during the time frame of Mark's killing. So there's no way he could have killed Mark. So police are beginning to wonder if whoever did kill Mark was trying to frame these other two men for some reason.
Well, yeah, now it sounds like it.
Yeah. So police find out that in the months leading up to Mark's death, his business was going under and he had financial trouble. He was like in a pickle. He owed a lot of money to investors. He couldn't pay his employees. He was in trouble. So police start looking into the people closest to Mark's life, right? Because these other two suspects are now ruled out. So now we start work our way. So they look at his wife, Sarah. They look at his nephew, Brent. And they look at his best friend, Greg, that all live with Mark. They start asking other friends and family and employees, people that were involved in Mark's life, about his life and these other people in it. And they discover that Mark was involved in a lot of drugs and in a lot of deviant sexual behaviors. So he was sexually involved with multiple partners, both men and women, including his wife, his nephew, and his friend.
Oh, hell no. What the
This is
hell?
like more like Game of Thrones stuff.
It is. What is this?
That's terrible.
So true.
Yeah.
I gasped so much that I had to like mute myself because I went into a coughing fit. Like his nephew. Ugh. Sorry.
That's why they all live in the house. I was just going to say, why does the friend live in there? He's doing what? Obviously, they're doing each other.
Obviously.
Obviously.
That should have been my first thought. I don't even know. Oh, my God.
Okay. So the day before his death, Mark had gone to his storage locker and had taken something out. So he had like a locker. I don't know if that's a storage unit or whatever. But either way, he's seen on CCTV footage. He goes into the storage locker and he comes out with like a bag with something in it.
Uh-oh.
And police learned that he kept a .44 caliber gun in his storage locker that was missing. And the bullet that they found in his body was from a .44 caliber rifle. So they're thinking, was this man shot with his own gun? They also learned that shortly before his death, Mark had taken out several life insurance policies totaling about $500,000.
Oh.
The beneficiaries on the life insurance policies were Sarah, his wife, Brent, his nephew, and Greg, his best friend. So all of this seems very coincidental and strange to police, so they get a search warrant for their home. You know, all together, one big happy family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While searching the home, police discovered a lot of sex toys and sex items. I don't know what that means, but like, let your mind take you.
I mean, I'm thinking,
Pornography.
yeah, I'm thinking the Red Room of Pain from, what the hell is that movie?
50 Shades.
50 Shades of
50
Grey.
Shades, yeah.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Red Room of Pain. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, they found a lot of drugs. Okay. Then they go in the attic. In the attic, the walls were painted like glow in the dark, neon paint. So it's not a red room. It's a glow-in-the-dark neon room.
Right.
The walls of the attic and the floors were splattered with blood. There were candles everywhere. There were statues and figures everywhere. And there was a very elaborate altar that was covered in candles and
Blood?
altar-y things. Yes, there was blood on it. So it's a very creepy, very dark scene. On the altar, they found their business cards. So the cards of the investigators that were looking into Mark's murder were on the altar.
Oh.
Like they were trying to
Hex them.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Police learned. I know. It's taken a turn, hasn't it? Okay. So police learned that Mark had been a high priest of a voodoo cult with over a dozen members. And that Greg, his best friend that was living with him, was his most loyal follower and his second in command. So police are like, you guys better start talking. They're pressing them hard. Like, we have found this stuff. What the hell is going on? So eventually, Brent, the nephew, starts singing. And he admitted to participating in Mark's murder. But he claimed that Greg was the person who actually killed him. Okay, here's the story. Brent claimed that Mark decided that it was time for his soul to be passed on to someone else. And he chose to pass his soul on to his most devoted follower, Greg. Mark told them that he had been involved in a voodoo ritual in New Orleans. And during that ritual, he killed his high priest to take on his soul. And by killing the high priest, Mark not only claimed the high priest's soul, but all the souls of the people that the high priest had killed. And now he wanted to pass all of these souls on to Greg. But in order to do that, Greg would have to kill him.
This is like the skeleton
on July
key.
18th of 19...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Kate Hudson, right?
Yeah. That movie freaked me out.
Yeah, this freaks me out.
Yeah, this is not okay.
Right. So on July 18th of 1997, Mark, Greg, and the nephew Brent all drove to the Minnesota-Wisconsin state line. There they held kind of a ritual, and Greg aimed the gun at Mark's chest and fired at his heart, but the gun didn't fire. So he tried to shoot him. It didn't work. Greg was like, it's not in the cards. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. Mark very calmly took the gun from Greg, put a bullet in the chamber, and handed it back to him. Greg then pointed the gun at Mark's chest, shot him, and killed him. Mark's body was left by the side of the road, dressed in his ceremonial white clothing. The gun was thrown in a river. And apparently this note had been placed in his shoe by Mark in order to frame his wife's exes so that Greg and Brent wouldn't get in trouble.
Clever.
So once Greg, the shooter, the friend, learned of Brent's confession, he also came clean. He admitted that he had killed Mark upon Mark's request to obtain Mark's soul and powers and the life insurance money.
Right. Don't forget the money.
Don't forget the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget the money and the souls.
Yeah.
And the power. I mean,
Right.
power and money.
So Greg pled guilty to Mark's ritualistic murder and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. 20 years.
20?
He could be out by now.
not a
This
lot.
this is 97?
1997.
I think he's
Yeah,
out.
so 2017, right?
Brent. Yeah, he probably is. Oh, Lord.
Oh, you just set her heart aflutter.
Oh, sorry. We'll,
Beth
we'll
hates talking about people that could be out and like listening to this.
Yeah. Well, it's on our
like to
podcast. It's
become
fine. It's fine. We're able and equipped to handle this.
It's a good thing Beth's not my real name.
Everybody here is under an alias.
Okay, so Brent, the nephew, also received 3 years for accessory to murder. Sarah, Mark's wife, could never be connected to his murder, so she was never charged. But police do believe that she had knowledge of it and was involved. There was just no evidence linking her. Also, the police never found evidence of Mark killing anyone in New Orleans.
How old was the nephew?
In his 20s, I believe, because Mark was only like 46.
Okay. Interesting.
These are young people that are in this like cult with. When I say I went down a rabbit hole in this one, there's a show, like a documentary on this on Oxygen called Framed by the Killer, which is I'll like send you guys the link to it so you can link it because it was interesting, but really strange case because the victim was like asking for his own murder, essentially.
I kind of think that's convenient, though. Who's going to contradict that? It's not like he's alive to say, no, that's not what happened. You know? Mm-hmm. And who's to say that they didn't come up with that
but
alibi?
Everyone in his life. That's very true. But it was his gun. We know he got his own gun out. The note was in his handwriting.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So super crazy. And that is voodoo. That is the dark side of voodoo, my friend.
That was a rabbit hole.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
And I feel bad. That's what I said. Like, I feel bad
Yeah.
talking so bad about voodoo because I'm like, gosh, it's really misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want any
Yeah.
part of it. But it is probably overly sensationalized and not all that much to fear, except for the animal sacrifices. That's gross. Don't do that. No. Bad.
Yeah, the cleanup on that has got to be bad. It's just got to be. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm like, that's the part.
Yeah.
That's the part. That's the part.
That's the part that's bad. Well, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know how much they were in the religion or not, but were they playing at it because they thought that's what it was and they didn't really understand what it was? Like these people, you know, Mark and Sarah and the nephew, the incest. Were they really part of the religion or were they just playing at it because they thought it would get them somewhere? Especially if the police couldn't find any record of Mark killing somebody in New Orleans. I don't know.
Right.
Just perpetuates the bad rap.
And it could have been hidden, like, Eggly. Yes. I mean, it was said, because remember, this, like, cult of his had, like, over a dozen members. So it wasn't just the nephew and friend, and it was other people as well. And he would droop into this because he would say, like, voodoo has given, like, the powers that I have summoned from these rituals and these souls have made me so successful. Because and then look, I make CDs.
Look, I make
He
CDs.
was like, super successful.
Right. I make
I
CDs.
make CDs because of Voodoo. So, yeah.
Right. Crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I am shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it's
at
interesting.
the actual origin because I literally
Yeah.
only heard the terrible stuff, and so it's This is all fascinating to me.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't think it was such like a,
Yeah,
a
it's so
helpful
much like
religion, like,
Christianity.
healthy and like healing. And now we only
Right.
ever see the dark side of it.
Yeah.
Which people who actually practice voodoo, like, they don't recognize those people as a part of their religion. They're like, we
Well, I
don't
wouldn't-
do that.
I
We
wouldn't
don't do
either.
witchcraft.
Yeah.
That's not what voodoo is. Right.
Yeah. I just keep thinking of all these movies, like James Bond, Live and Let Die. They were in Jane Seymour. It was like her first role in a movie. And she was like a voodoo priestess.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, she was like a clairvoyant voodoo priestess, but they were like, it was all portrayed as horrible in the in
It's
that
like
movie.
American Horror Story. You know,
An
they
American,
have that season where it's in New Orleans. It's the witches. They have a coven.
Right.
You know, and it's all about like voodoo and bringing people back from the dead. And there's the hairdresser who is like a voodoo priestess, and she summons spells and puts hexes on people and all that stuff. It's always portrayed that way.
Well, now I won't feel so bad if we go visit. I do want to go to New Orleans, but I always kind of felt like maybe I had no business in New Orleans, you know?
My husband is in New Orleans right now.
Lucky.
Yeah, he had to go for work.
Oh,
Having the best time.
for work, quote unquote.
Yes, for work with 4 seats to a really nice concert last night. He really is there for work, but
We'll see about
but
that.
I can tell you he is not going to be visit any fortune telling or card readers or palm readers or any of that while he is there.
Yeah,
It scares the bejesus out of him.
it's not for everybody. Just like these pictures that Bryce keeps flipping on the screen of the I can't say it. I can't say it. He's like finding different pictures. The one he found just now is worse.
Oh, that hurt.
Warning! My God.
Totally different.
Yeah, she's depicted differently.
No, the tongue is like
That's
an
the-
eel. It's like,
It's the tongue.
it's horrible.
It's the tongue.
That's what you're going to have to black out, right? Not any other part of it.
The tongue.
just
Oh
the
my
tongue.
gosh. Well, we had some fun tonight.
Spooky episode.
Yeah, we got real dark here. I don't know, Cristy, how you feeling about our episode?
Well, I mean, what I have in store might be similar
Okay.
stuff. Kind of creepy.
All right. Well, you guys will have to head on over to Crimes and Closets to hear Cristy and I do our episode, and we'll do our best to stay on par with these two, with the Killer Bees. They brought
it's hard
it.
to top the Killer Bees.
It's hard. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that we're gonna do it, but I'm also gonna say we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we are. And you will not have to hear 40 minutes or whatever of this voice, by the way.
No, it'll be all good.
Yes.
All right. Well, we loved having you
Voice is
guys.
not like that because I put a hex or spell on it.
For real.
No hexing. We don't do that. If we like you. We had the best time just sitting here talking with them earlier before we recorded the episode. So we love these ladies. Please go show them some love as well. And you can find them everywhere that podcasts are available. And we will, of course, link to them. And we talk about them all the time. So I don't know how you would not know who they are. But this is just a taste. And please come and check out our episode with Cristy, my episode with Cristy on Monday, the 31st. And we are going to rock it. I know it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be amazing. So we're going to wrap up this episode. And as always, we want everybody to remember the world is scary. People suck. Hide in your closets. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Love you.